Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. And we are here for episode 4 of PValley. So let's jump right into it. Divorce settlement is back, and that's old girl from season 1 who threw her whole divorce settlement up in the club, and she ended up like driving straight into a building or something like that and being arrested. And I knew her right when I seen her because I'm like, she back to throwing money again. I said, is that the rest of the divorce settlement or is this her stint? Like, she throwing, like I'm saying, she throwing money and it's all good up until she's getting a lap dance from Toy. Because she basically, like, she was going through the whole club. It seemed like she had got a lap dance from everybody. And then when it's Toy's turn, this heifer, because she had on 2 different masks. Now she took off one mask, then she took off the other. And it seems like as soon as she took off both of her masks, Toy comes from back here with it with a sneeze. And it goes like it's a good 5 seconds of us watching the debris fly into divorce settlement space. And she has a panic attack is the best way to describe it. Cause she starts screaming. And Toy is like, I got allergies. But it's like if this is at the height of when COVID first hit, bitch, I don't know you to trust you to say you got allergies. That's the purpose of the mask. But divorce settlement, like she snatched up both of her masks, she go find her gloves. She even had like a face, like the face mask, what is it, like the clear ones? And it's just like she had all that on, but as the night went on, it got stripped away. So she's snatching up all her stuff, uh screaming and howling about how the Pynk needs to be shut down. This heifer even goes over to the microphone by Big Bone, because Big Bone is the DJ now instead of the bartender. And she gets on the mic and she's like, I'm a health department regulator and I'm officially closing this building down. So grab your pink drinks um and get your ass on up out of here. And so then we cut to her in the locker room saying, you need to change this, you need to change that. You should have been at 50% capacity and, just running all this down. And she telling them that the fine, I think, how much was the fine? Like $25,000. And Uncle Clifford says, girl, ain't nobody got that type of money saved up, like nowhere. And divorce settlement tells her, well, you saw that little Birkin, you might could have some money. She's like, oh, and that's when Uncle Clifford was like, you looking real familiar right now. You somebody third, fourth cousin or something. And when she snatched down the mask, she like, you the heifer that blew her whole divorce settlement. And then old girl who do the makeup, she's like, nah. She was at the jail telling everybody that she slept with her husband's mama. And they like, his mama. And she snatched it. It was me. It's like, girl, we know you. We know your face. It was definitely you. And so she just tells them, get it together and make sure y'all make all the adjustments that I need. And so after she leaves, everybody's jumping on Toy like this Toy fault, which it is Toy's fault. I mean, okay, yes, you do got allergies. It is allergies, but still, it's like, girl, we don't know what's going on right now. You need to stay masked up and away from people. And what was her name? Brazil. Brazil was like, all right, y'all calm down because I'm a vouch for Toy because she do got allergies. She always sneezing. Like this ain't nothing new. And cause roulette was like this all Toy fault. And that's when Brazil was like, I'm a vouch for her. She do got allergies. It's not COVID. She always sneezing. And roulette took it to heart and was like, ain't nobody talking to you. And she's like, girl, you made that statement in front of everybody. Like that was a general statement and I responded to it. So what's the problem? And then roulette says something about your belly button mouth looking ass. And it's like Brazil was like, oh, we talking about Miles? We're talking about Miles. Do you really want to go there? And she's like, people been around here asking for the girl with the dick sucking lips. I wonder who they talking about. And Roulette ain't got the biggest lips, but I think out of everybody, her lips are bigger than most. And uh Roulette was who is it? Uncle Clifford. She was like, ain't none of that should be going on in my fine establishment. She lying on me. And Roulette was quick. She was like, she lying on me. She's like, girl, ain't nobody lying on you. So they get into a fight, but it's really like Roulette just beating Brazil's ass. And I was like, wait a minute, Brazil. You can't start shit and not be able to finish it, baby. Like, if you gonna talk shit, you gotta back it up. Like, come on now. Make it make sense. Like, so Pastor Thief is running for mayor. She done threw in her hat into the ring. Like, I'm not letting this white man get away with this. Especially since he done shut her church club down. She done it for him. Um Mercedes gets a text from Coach for her to come to the condo. You know, like, you need to finish what you started since you like ran out on us. So then we have Crooked Letter. She's standing in front of a huge poster promoting her lashes because you know she got her own lashes now. And her and Murder are having a performance later. So she's like, you know, make sure you come down to the club where we gonna be performing because we gonna have it litty. And the person recording for her is Gidget because they're in Birmingham. So, you know, she done hooked up with Bridget and they hanging out, the two besties back together again. Um, and then they're watching the fight from between Roulette and Brazil. And Crooked Letter shows it to Murder and was like, was the Pynk always that ghetto? And it's like, girl, you standing there looking how you looking. You shouldn't be calling anything ghetto because as pretty and as gorgeous as Crooked Letter is, she's still ghetto at its finest. It's like, baby, that hair, those lashes, that makeup, and the outfits that you wear, you're ghetto too. And it's not the ghetto where like I see ghetto so I can call you know, like I am ghetto so I can call out what's ghetto. It's like I think I'm better than y'all and y'all are ghetto. That's she always gives that to me. It's just like Crickoletta, just come on back down to earth, baby. Just come on back down. Um and then Git just said something like, you ain't seen ghetto till you worked at some of the clubs I worked at, you know, down here. And everybody trying to look at her like, white girl, ain't your turn. We didn't need your input. Don't talk to us about ghetto. You know, like that's our shit. And I always felt that way. I always felt like Gidget was the white girl who wasn't accepted by her own people. So she went and got with the niggas. And you know, now it's a persona that she has going on. Um so Whip Boy shows up to the Pynk while Fall is there by herself. But it's like she walking down the hallway and she looking like she nervous. Then you hear so, you know, she jumped. Of course, she's scared. But it's Whip Boy trying to intimidate her, saying, you know, once again, calling her a bitch. Like, this bitch, you must have lost your mind. It's like, you like to get your ass whooped for fun. Like, you get off on it. You can never scare me. Like, what are you talking about? I'll pull out a whip right now and you'll probably get excited. Get your ass away from me. Um, so fake Obama, you know, he gets back home and he walks in the door with a bag and a bottle of champagne. And he's like, Brittany, I'm home. And it was quiet before he opened that door. And then it's like, as soon as he said that, you hear moaning. So he like, Brittany? And he running up the stairs, Brittany. And you still hear the moaning. So it's like, obviously, whoever Brittany is with, Brittany want to get caught. And so she catch him, I mean, he catch her sucking off her coworker. His name Dante. Now they have this scene where he like pushes him down and then he gets behind him, choking him, and it's like they focus in on his face to make it seem like he's deranged in this moment. And Brittany in the background yelling like, Andre, please let him go. Please let him go. And it's like, are you asking me because you don't want it to get out of hand and like me to actually kill this nigga? Like you worried about me or are you worried about your little boyfriend that I'm about to choke out? And it's like, bitch. But he lets him go and Dante runs out and before he he like, you know, can I put my clothes on? Andre like, get your ass out of here. And it reminded me, if you know the song, they what is it called? By Pro Life Liar. If you know that song, it sounded just like that. Cause at the end, he's like, "Hey man, but before I go, can I get my shoes? Nigga, fuck you and your shoes." And the door slams. Go listen to that song. Um, and so she turns to him after old dude runs out and is like, "Andre, where's your mask?" And I put on Twitter, and it got a little notoriety. If I catch you sucking off somebody else, and the first thing you ask me is, "Where's my mask?" I'm burning this house down with you in it, and I'm leaving because it's just like, don't try to flip this shit about having like, bitch, you were just sucking dick. What does a mask matter in this moment? Like, don't try to distract me. Don't try to distract me. Um, and so he throws a vase at her head, but she ducks just. I was like, oh, I wanted that vase to connect so bad. Um, and he's like, you know what? It's bad enough that you were sucking somebody else off, but it's your coworker that your parents wanted you to end up with anyway. So you end up fucking this nigga anyway. And it's like, they never wanted them two to be together. And it feels like she just married him to prove her parents wrong. Like, y'all don't like him, so I'm gonna marry him and I'm gonna make something out of him to prove y'all wrong. But it didn't end up that way. Um, So he tells her, he's going back to Chucalissa to run for mayor. And she laughs at this man and tells him that he's not going to win. And he looks at her and says, "Well, I got nothing left to lose." And like this look comes across her face as if, she's kind of regretting what just happened. But I'm like, no, you wanted a way out and you got it. Cause all that moaning, cause he was loud as hell. Coming into that house, the house ain't that big. It's like there's no way you did not hear him come in. It's like, okay, he's here. We can finally get this out in the open and we can stop acting. And it's like we also not going to ignore the fact that when she asked who was Haley, the way you ran to that phone and then you keep running back to Mississippi. So it almost feels like to me as if she's having a premonition of, well, he's cheating on me, so let me go ahead and get my shit out in the open as well too. Because when she showed up last season, to kick it with him, it's just like she wasn't stupid as to what was going on, but he had sex with her to avoid the conversation. Um, okay, where we at? So when Mercedes gets, to the condo, she got an outfit on under her black coat, and she's like, "Coach," but when she walks all the way in, it's luggage. Um, look, she's like, "I'm just getting some equipment, and I'll be out of your way." But kind of find out, and I was like, "Girl, you should have known that was her anyway, because the way the message was saying, it's like you knew that one coach talking to you like that." And she admits it. She's like, "I'm the one that sent the message, not him." And she teach her how to strip a little bit. She's like, "You gotta take these clothes off because the pole needs your skin." And this ends up with them having sex. And I was just like, okay, yes, finally. We can have some real sex. Instead of her doing all that screaming and hollering with a dildo like she did on the first episode. I'm still upset about that. Cause it's like there's no way you was making that much noise and you was playing with yourself. But obviously, I guess so. So Suge Knight, he comes through with the supplies for the paint to get everything up to where it should be so they can open the doors back up. Um, and even Diamond shows up to lend a helping hand. He's like, y'all never took me out that group chat, so I'm here to help. Uh, and nephew never scared. He on the radio now. And Gidget calls him from the car, like, I'm crying right now. Like, I'm so proud of you. And it's just a moment of love. And who's that? Murder. DJ Never Scared, he tells Murder, like, you need to write a verse and send it over to me so you can get on this song. And Undertaker grabs the phone, like, when you need it by, because he gonna send it. Like, this is what you need to do. Um, so yeah. So Diamond steps into the passion room, hence my backdrop for the day, for this episode, I should say. When he walks into the passion room, he's just getting that feeling because that's where everything happened on murder night. And it's like as he's walking closer to the mirror, and then like there's water on the floor and there's a hand reaching up out of him, he's like, and it's just like, can you relax a little bit? But no, he is doing the most. And it's like as soon as that hand is like reaching up out the water at him, and he takes a couple steps back. I'm like, how is he stepping in water? Like, where is this coming from? Suge Knight comes through like, nigga, you all right? And he's like, yeah, I just, and Suge Knight is like, I understand, but you know what? Grab them boxes and let's get back to work. We ain't got time to think about that. And I always wondered, like, is it gonna affect Suge Knight in any type of way? Cause, you know, a fall, be walking around scared. That one time when the psychic pole was swinging back and forth, Mercedes had a look of concern on her face, and that I'ma get caught. She be thinking about it too. Uncle Clifford done snitched on himself, talking about he done chopped up the body and threw it in the river. But Suge Knight is the only one who seems unaffected by it. His only concern is, I gotta figure out uh where my money gonna come from. Uh Duffy catches Roulette crying, and it's because her brother was killed by the police. So throughout the whole episode, they've been listening to or hearing something about a person being killed by the police. And it later came out that this episode was referencing when George Floyd died, but they just didn't want to say his name in the episode. And because, as important as that was, he's not the only person that's been killed by police. Um, and Roulette makes the same. She says, y'all always get away with this. Because it's like, it's not just police, like white people in general. Y'all always get away with killing a black person, saying that it was in self-defense or we was doing something we had no business, and that just justifies it. So Big Bone, she be in the back just listening. And she been hearing all the girls talk about Diamond, how fine he is, what could have possibly happened that night. Because while the girls were cleaning, like around, what was that, a pool table? Toy was the one who said, I heard he didn't come back to the club because Keyshawn pulled a gun on him because he was whooping on her baby daddy. And the makeup artist was like, that's the dumbest or like craziest idea of a dog. And I'm like, but she's the only one that's actually right. So y'all need to actually listen to her. But at the end of the night, she get Diamond on the back of her bike, like, come on, let's ride. I was just like, ooh, that's how she pulled him, and that's how she got pregnant now. I said, okay. Big Teak is unhinged. He is the main one affected by these shootings. All he wants to do is watch the news or hear it on the radio. Because before they heard Nephew Never Scared on the radio, um, he was listening to the news, but Gidget changed it because she's like, man, we driving all this time. I want to hear some crunk shit. Like, ain't nobody trying to listen to this sad, depressing shit. And he got mad then. He was like, who the fuck told you to change the radio? Like, change it back. And oh, I forgot. Birmingham was placed on a curfew. So while they were in the car, they changed their plans to hanging out at the hotel since they're not going to be able to perform at the club that night. Um, And so at the hotel, he's watching it on the news, like on TV, and Sniffer Sweeper, he cuts the TV off so they can all stand up and share a toast. And like they smoking, and he gets mad again. He was like, who the fuck told you to turn that off? And Sniffer Sweeper is like, turn off the TV that's in my room. He's like, man, we doing something over here. And he just gets so upset. And then Sniffer Sweeper is like, he had to do something. He turned it very much all lives matter, or what do white people do? We don't know the whole story. They love that. We don't know the whole story. I need more information. Because he had to be doing something in order to get gunned down. And after he said that, Big Teak They couldn't even hold him back because it was just like he just and it's like you have a right to be upset, but you're doing exactly what they always accuse us of doing. Like we're belligerent, not making any sense, just angry, aggressive. And even though it's two black people, but you did exactly what um Sniffer Sweeper was saying. So Gidget stands up and tells him, like, you're gonna have to calm down. And it's like in the midst of him already being upset about a race issue, the white girl getting up in his face telling him to calm down. Girl, you only escalated the situation instead of de-escalating it like you possibly wanted to. And he's like, man, if you don't get out my face with this, and she was like, I wish, and he was like, what, you wish a nigga would? You wish a nigga would? And he stomps through the table, I call it a coffee table, and breaks it. And he was like, "You wish a nigga would?" And she's holding on to Keyshawn because Keyshawn is scared in this moment, and I will give I'll have a little bit of sympathy for her, just a little bit, but not too much, because she's silently crying and she's jumping, and Gidget cleans it up real quick. She was like, "I was gonna say I wish a motherfucker would, not a nigga." Um, and they carry him out the room, and Lil Murder goes to check on him, like, you gotta relax, you gotta calm down. And Big T, like, he makes a good point. He's like, no matter what we do, in the words of Jay-Z, still nigga. They still not gonna respect us. We're still always gonna be beneath them. It's no matter what we do. But then he tells Lil Murder, but you special. You gonna make it. You gonna be one of the good niggas. And that leads to them having sex. So Crooked spends close to $400 to send Gidget home. And if Gidget been doing all the dancing like she claims she been doing, why she could pay for her own Uber? And why the fuck it costs so much? I said, ain't no man, when I saw that, what, 365, I said, oh hell. So Sniffer Sweeper comes out and says, oh, you had to get the white girl up out of here, right? And Crooked Letter says something about that's my girl, but I can't tell her everything. And so Sniffer Sweeper is like, I'm gonna have uh Undertaker fire him because I don't want him scaring you like that ever again. And for some reason, she tries to put on the front like, "When nobody scared." It's like, baby, are you sure? Because we saw you jump, we saw you crying, like. But he's like, yes, she was, and it's okay. And he's like, I got your back, so don't worry about it. And they have this little fist bump moment where it's like, oh, okay. And I thought at that point in time, um, it was gonna be Crooked Letter and Sniffer Sweeper, and then we gonna have Fake Drake and Big Bone. So instead of them two being together, like everybody was hoping for and assuming, these are the two couples that they gonna break off into, because Sniffer Sweeper, he's making a lot of stuff happen for her, getting deals left and right, and he's like, I don't want to see you like that. And he's trying to make it to where she ain't got to go back to Derek. So it's just like, girl, I got you. So it's like, okay. But Undertaker is like on the other side of, what are they called? Like, I don't know. He's like on the other side of the building. They can't see him. And he listening to everything and he just looking like, uh-huh. Uncle Clifford and Mercedes are listening to Fall and Fake Obama's conversation outside. And she bought the Pynk with every intention of selling it. Like ever since she bought it and paid for it, it was in her mind that she was gonna sell it for something else. And when Mercedes heard that, she took out her earrings, but Uncle Clifford was like, what's Uncle Clifford rule 7.5? No witnesses. So it's just like, wait till corny nigga leave. And I said, it's so funny that everybody calls him corny. Like, don't nobody really like fake Obama. They are so annoying. Like, I will be so glad when them two leave. but I feel like they're not going anywhere because uh Fall is supposed to be the focus of the show, even though don't nobody really care about her. It's like you just got this light skinned girl here thinking that that's what everybody was going to draw to. And it's just like, move that bitch out the way. Where's Mercedes? Where's Crooked Let? Where's everybody but her? Truly. Um, but so Uncle Clifford and Mercedes burst outside, and Uncle Clifford is like, Autumn Night? No. Lakeisha Savage? No. Haley Colton? Bitch, whatever you want to be, what the fuck is you doing talking about selling my club? Like you've been plotting from the beginning. And so, with all that yelling going on, everybody else come outside like hell going on right here, around here. And Uncle Cliff is like, she's trying to sell the club, and they're like, what? And she and I just like, excuse me, after I just got all this shit up and running like how it's supposed to be, what you mean sell the club? And she's telling them, it's just a building. You could take the money and go build another club. And Uncle Clifford says, it's funny how you say it's just a building when you living in the back of this bitch like it's your house. And she ain't had nothing to say. And Mercedes is like, you told me you was staying with a friend. It's like, what friend? She came here with nothing, first of all. So I'm like, what friend? But Uncle Clifford was like, friends. That bitch ain't got no friends. Look at what she do to him. And it was some rule 29,000, a whole bunch of random ass numbers. Be careful who you let through the door because you can't save every hoe. And it's just like, that's true. But from the beginning, they have always painted Fall as if she was a girl who needed saving. So it's like she come in with the little sad face and make you want to look out for her. So it's like, yeah, be careful who you let through the door, but she tricked you and you thought, because what is it? Not a madam, but like a house mother. That's what Uncle Clifford is. She's a house mother. So it's just like she wanted to take her in and save her. Um, and so, she turns around like, I'm not dealing with this shit. Let me get away from her. And everybody else, like giving her the stink eye and walking away. And Mercedes tells her, I see what Montavious meant when he said you an easy bitch to love, but an easier bitch to hate. Because while you looking soft and sweet on the outside, your heart is cold and your mind ain't right. Um, and then when she walks away, Fall looks like she want to cry, but it's like, bitch, don't nobody feel sad for you. Fuck you. Um, Divorce settlement comes back, and she still ain't happy with the changes. So she tells them that they need to fix that and figure out what they're gonna do with that. Uncle Clifford gives it to Suge Knight and say, hand that shit to that bitch. She the boss, right? Give it to her. Let her figure it out. Little Murder wakes up to Big Teak holding a postcard, being so light skinned. It's like his knee is up to his chest and he's staring out the window. And it's just like, who the fuck Cliff? And it's just like, yeah, who is that bitch? It's just like very much where this going? And he don't say nothing. Um Fake Obama finds out that Mayor Goddaddy left him his house, which what was it, the third baby mama with the youngest baby, she's very unhappy about that. She was like, I don't know why he would leave it to you, but be happy with your little house. And of course, that's not gonna be the headquarters for where he's running for mayor as well as living in the house. My God. Okay, so that is the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you back in the next episode.